Okay, so last time we looked at designs that we had from a really simple, if I get up that last kind of, this simple isometric design, and how we can basically subtract parts and add some detail to make it look a bit more interesting and like a water dispenser, as we can see there. Now, rather than subtracting, maybe we want to add to it, which kind of gives us more options, or can give us more options. So if we take that really simple design that we had, so making sure my lines, perspective-wise, are going to meet in the distance. So this line and this line and this line will all meet up there, and these lines will all meet over in the distance here somewhere. Now, let's just quickly add that initial shape on. Making sure we're kind of going to, again, meet off in the distance over here. Join that when I put it back, and then come down to this corner here and join this up. So rather than subtracting this time, as we did, I can grab this, as we did previously, potentially we might want to add something onto it. So if we think back to the very beginning when we kind of had these parts and we were adding sections to it here, maybe what we're going to do is we're going to take, I don't know, a triangle and add a triangle onto this part. So along the top here, I may want to just extend out this line, extend out this line in the back here, and give myself a little kind of platform to work onto. And maybe I say I don't want it to stick out quite this far, so I draw a line going across like this, and then we have our top face that is extended along like so. So we've got a kind of zigzag, but maybe we want to make this join up to this wall over here. Because it's at the same angle as that's going across, we can't actually see underneath. So we now have an overhanging part. So if I was to draw along this top back line, along here, you can now see how just by adding to this shape, all of a sudden, we've got a very different form. And just to make sure we can actually visualize what's going on, we've got basically, in fact, that line is technically there because it's running along the top, like so. So you can kind of see that like this. And then you could imagine that underneath, say from here, if we imagine on the top face, going all the way down, we've got our spout for our water dispenser, like so. Okay, now you wouldn't be able to see that top part, so you technically rub that away, and you would only see this section here. But rather than subtracting bits, we've now added a section, and we've got our water dispenser part there. And maybe what we'd have to kind of, if I disguise this slightly, we could have a big, I don't know, square button on top to press for the different types of water that you want. So you'd have your cup that sits underneath. And maybe we still need to have something cut away, so we could have like a little curved section like this. Who knows? Okay, so you can have your glass that sits here, another glass over here. You get what I'm talking about. So there's an option to add to it. Potentially you want to go one step further, and let's change this a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to have another perspective shape up here. So we're going to keep it like so. But this time, this top face was actually quite a long, thin section. Let's imagine, rather than having a long, thin section, we're going to still have it as the original shape. This time, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be connecting this corner down to here, this corner down to this front section, as we have always done. So you can kind of see that part there, the back corner down to there, and then that back corner technically away. Now, what's happened is because we've drawn this small section on top, we've actually now got this kind of tapering effect up to the top part as this base bit stays quite wide. And that could be something that we work from, or we kind of add to it rather than subtracting away. So we're going to extend this cuboid, these vertical lines here like this, down, and we're going to also extend along here like so, this back part like this, okay? And now we could add maybe some legs to it, okay? And let's kind of stay in this kind of 3D square kind of tapered shape. And maybe what we want is, I don't know, let's go for, I think 4 legs will probably look best, but we could add something a bit more interesting. So we could add like a little corner shape to it like this. Technically that should meet over there. I do the same over here. So we've got our corner shape cuts across like that, and our corner shape cuts across like that. Okay, this is the base of our feet. And then we can just build up to it. So I can draw this line all the way up to here, this front line vertically up like so. We can't actually see that back line. This line vertically up here, this line vertically up here like this front line vertically up, this line going vertically up here, and this corner going vertically up here. This back one we can just see. We can not see that part of it though, like so. And immediately that has given us a completely different design from what we initially had. And this could be our water tank up here with some sort of like, again, refill flap with maybe a little, actually that doesn't look very good, maybe like a little handle on there to kind of top it up. And we could have, you know, you put your glass under here somewhere so the glass sits under like so. This is supersizing it. And then you have some buttons on the front, or maybe a small screen that allows you to then choose what kind of water gets dispensed. Okay, and very quickly, by adding to it rather than subtracting, we have some legs, we have something that sticks out, and we've got some really interesting designs that we can, again, continue to build upon. Or maybe you're happy with this and you take that further into your development and start trying to, you know, work out how it's going to fit together, or work out how the buttons are going to be in place and positioned, etc. So lots of ways you can add parts to it rather than subtracting. Do give that a go if you're struggling with your design ideas, and just be creative, right? Use the shapes that we had initially. Yeah, take elements of this and chuck it into here. It might be something that works really well for you. It might be something you struggle with. The more you practice, the better you will get.